You're watching the show that puts Spartan news into focus. This is Focal Point.
The Michigan State football team is hitting the road for the inaugural Big Ten championship game. I'll have the details coming up next on Focal Point.
Coming up next on Focal Point, I'll show you where the fans are going to be for the first annual Big Ten championship game. Later on tonight, we'll mull over Michigan's growing wine industry. Focal Point starts now.
I'm Hannah Saunders.
And I'm Jamison Williams. Welcome to Focal Point. Campus was full of excitement as the Spartans headed to Indianapolis.
It's history in the making as MSU and the Wisconsin Badgers match up in the first ever Big Ten championship game.
Andrea Nelson caught up with the team before they left for Indy.
The first game between Michigan State and Wisconsin this year was decided by a Hail Mary pass as time expired.
Great game the last time we played them. We've had great games with them.
The runner did cross the
We've been able to win 3 of the last 4. And I think, again, that gives us confidence as we move into the next phase here.
That next phase will come when the two teams meet again in the first Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis.
It's one of those one-shot things. We got one shot here, so we're going to take our best shot.
Well, the Spartans are heading to Indianapolis, and even though they bleed green and white, they're hoping to come back to East Lansing wearing some rose red.
And it's an opportunity, obviously, to move on and go to the Rose Bowl.
Coming here, that was our goal, to be Big Ten champs and playing a Rose Bowl or a national championship, and we got that opportunity. It's the biggest dream come true.
Even though MSU already beat Wisconsin earlier this year, they're a 9.5-point underdog heading into Lucas Oil Stadium, but that doesn't bother them.
It's not all bad. We're the little guy. Everybody wants the little guy to win.
We have to win the battle in the mind and believe, first and foremost, that we can beat Michigan, believe that we can get to a Rose Bowl, and someday it's going to happen.
The Spartans haven't made a trip to Pasadena since 1988, the year many of the seniors were born.
We've been talking about this for a long time. It's the first game, and to get this championship and get to this Rose Bowl, man, it'll mean the world.
For Focal Point, I'm Andrea Nelson.
Tonight's game is the start of a new tradition in the Big Ten, now that the conference has expanded.
Did you wear Spartan green on Friday? Governor Rick Snyder declared yesterday MSU Green Day. He encouraged Michiganders to support the team by sporting green. Even the Sparty statue is wearing a football jersey in honor of today's Big Ten championship game. And you know, J-Mo, I'm kind of bummed I didn't get the chance to wear green today, but I thought I'd take a moment and represent our Jern school.
Very nice. That's a nice green. I saw a lot of green on campus today. Yes, I did. Some fans made the trek to Indy, but those who couldn't are still supporting the team from afar. It's the calm before the storm in East Lansing as the Spartans prepare for battle against Wisconsin in Indianapolis. But they won't be alone.
Early 8 o'clock on Saturday, me and a few buddies are going to hop in a car, drive 6 hours, go to some pep rallies, and show Wisconsin fans how Michigan State campus students party. The
fans that shook Spartan Stadium all year hope to bring the same intensity and craziness to Lucas Oil Stadium.
I think we're going to bust out the face paint. If it is, you know, if the atmosphere requires it, we might even take off the shirt and put some letters on.
But with tickets selling out in just over 24 hours, many will be cheering from the comforts of East Lansing.
Probably just a friend's place. Didn't get a ticket to go down.
I'm not going, but some friends and I are getting together at a house and watching it and having a little cookout.
But watching the game is only part of it.
We're throwing a little Christmas/Big Ten party here in my apartment. So we're looking to have a good time, watch a very intense, lively, electric game. It's going to be a very exciting night, and I got a brand new TV to watch the game on, so I'm looking forward to it.
With just hours before the first Big Ten championship game, the campus of Michigan State is a little quiet. But a win will turn this snow-covered campus on fire.
We're going to start inviting some people over today and see if we can get as many as we can over here. Not too crazy because we don't need the cops called on us, but...
No cops, just a Rose Bowl for the Spartans for the first time since 1988 if they win. Here's some good news for those who stayed behind this weekend. Because so many fans travel to Indianapolis for the football game, there will be lots of room in the Izzone student section at the Breslin. MSU students can enjoy the men's basketball game against Nebraska-Omaha on Sunday for free. Just bring your student ID to Gate C. Gates open at 12:30 and the game starts at 2.
The first big snowstorm of the season also meant a big cleanup for some East Lansing residents. The snow was so heavy the canopy at a local gas station collapsed. Take a look at what happened to this Marathon gas station on Hazlitt Road. The awning is now on its side. The Meridian Police posted the picture on their Facebook page. The heavy snow also caused more damage to other areas around East Lansing. Our recent snowstorm of 8 to 10 inches of snow left the city to deal with a number of broken tree branches. The limbs were still being removed as late as Thursday afternoon. MSU students also adapted to the weather. They broke out their hats and boots for the slippery walk to class, while others built snowmen and played outside. Well, back to Meridian Township, one local community has had it with the number of deer populating their town. Focal Point's Victoria Marzek found out what's being done to solve the problem in Meridian Township.
Mike Lewis is a concerned parent and resident in Meridian Township.
I've got a teenage girl who just started driving, just got her license last month. And I don't want a deer going through her windshield.
Lewis is also one of 16 registered bow hunters participating in Meridian Township's deer harvesting event that recently began to reduce the expanding number of deer roaming the backyards and roads of the community.
Traditionally, people have not been able to hunt the deer in these parklands in Meridian Township. And because of that, the population has just exploded.
The event's purpose is to prevent the deer from starving in the winter and to keep drivers safe by decreasing the number of deer causing traffic accidents.
There are deer everywhere, all over these parklands, people's yards, our roads. And the township wisely, I think, decided to see if we can reduce the size of the herd a little bit.
The deer management plan allows hunters certified by the township to harvest only does in 7 different areas of township-owned property. Hunters can keep the first deer they harvest and then must donate any additional deer meat to local food kitchens. Meridian Township residents' main concern for the hunt is public safety. So to increase safety precautions, hunters are required to shoot at a downward angle from a tree stand like this one.
I guess the biggest complaint I get is kind of a good complaint, is why isn't this program bigger and why aren't you in my neighborhood?
Jane Greenway is the Parks and Land Management Coordinator for Meridian Township who proposed the deer management plan. She says Meridian Township residents have reacted positively to the harvest event and other cities are looking to this management plan as a future option for their own communities.
And a lot of the other cities around here, East Lansing, Lansing, Delta Township, are all waiting to see how our program works, and then they want to jump on board next year.
The deer harvest event will continue until the end of the year at the completion of hunting season. For Focal Point, I'm Victoria Marzek.
For information about Meridian Township's deer management plan, head over to the Meridian Township website.
Michigan will soon have a law requiring schools to create and adopt an anti-bullying policy. The bill, known as Matt's Law, was passed Tuesday by the Senate. Once it is signed by Governor Rick Snyder, schools will have 6 months to implement a policy. Kevin Epling pushed for this bill after his son committed suicide in 2002. He sees it as a step toward combating the growing bullying problem.
Making sure that every school district in the state of Michigan will have a policy, so by the beginning of next school year, every school should have a policy, to help protect our kids, and that's what we're going for. We're really making sure that schools looked at this as the issue that it is.
4 Ingham County Sheriff's deputies could be lending a hand to Lansing police. A new plan would let Sheriff's deputies ticket drivers on Lansing roads. This won't cost the county any extra money, and all revenue generated from traffic violations will go to the city. It's a partnership that Lansing's chief of police is calling a seamless transition.
It's a fantastic opportunity to work with our partners. We work with them day in and day out. We have existing programs with them. This is just another tool in the toolbox, and we're really looking forward to this continued partnership that we have.
The proposal is currently under review by the Public Safety Committee. Chief Szymanski predicts that the collaboration could officially begin as soon as the first of the year.
Well, November was a month without shaving for some local men. Find out what cause they were supporting later on in Health.
Coming up next, we'll see what's changing on campus.
When I was greener than the hill, where flowers grew and the sun shone still. Now I'm darker than the deepest sea. Just hand me down, give me a place to be.
Hey, welcome back. ASMSU is giving students more control over their identities.
And the Broad Museum plans to open its doors very soon. Focal Point's Annie Cook has more.
Thanks, Hannah. MSU's student government, ASMSU, passed a bill that may allow international and transgender students to use their preferred names. Focal Point's Lucy Guo looks at why some students are eager for this policy to be enacted.
ASMSU recently passed a bill which will allow students to use their preferred name on MSU emails, IDs, and other school-related documents.
We want to use the names that we're actually called in day-to-day life.
International students would like to use the preferred name because it is difficult for some natives to pronounce it.
Could you spell that?
ILUGUO. While transgender students feel that it is their right to be called whatever they like.
As a transgender student, I have to come out to my professors at the first day of class, every class I take, every semester, to let them know my preferred name.
They focused on a first name that a student uses, or in the case of an international student, their American name that they prefer to be called.
The Registrar of MSU Administration says students' official name will still always be used in university's information system.
You wouldn't have two names. It's just like what you would be referred to, like on a professor's roster, like when they call out your name, who they would call out.
This isn't what I'm called. This is what's on some document somewhere.
The preferred name will never override the official name.
ASMSU and the school administration are working together in order to put the policy into practice.
How do we actually implement this from a systems perspective?
The transition from what we currently have to what we would have.
Thank you. Once this policy gets into practice, with your preferred name on this card, students will be benefited in all aspects of their campus life.
I think the way it helps the most is between students and their professors, and students' interaction with administration.
Make all students feel comfortable when their name's called off in class.
It could help all students.
However, more steps are still need to be taken.
We would like to have a preferred name. Seems really simple.
It's too early to set a timetable on it yet.
Oh, I have no idea when it'll happen.
Once the policy reaches the administration level, the implementation will be easy. From Focal Point, I'm Lucy Guo.
If MSU enacts the bill this year, it will become one of many universities in the U.S. with a preferred name policy. MSU will soon change the street addresses of on-campus buildings. The current system uses building names instead of street names, causing problems with the emergency response. The new plan will keep office and building names, but will use a street address as well, allowing it to be tracked by GPS systems. The changes began as early as December and will go through May. The Broad Museum on MSU's campus will finally open late spring of next year. It's named the Eli and Edith Broad, who donated $28 million to the museum. The first exhibits will feature trends in video art as well as art from the Broad family's personal collection. The museum will officially open on April 21st, 2012. MSU graduates have something besides student loans to look forward to. MSU grads are among the most recruited by top companies. A new survey shows that MSU ranks number 39 out of 150. Leading executives in 10 countries were asked where they hire employees from. The U.S. had 7 universities ranked in the top 10, Harvard topping the list. Michigan State ranked second in the Big Ten, beating U of M and Ohio State. Northwestern led the Big Ten at number 6. That's what's happening on campus. I'm Annie Cook. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Annie. An MSU researcher is making history, using a 3D simulator to tackle a moral dilemma. The psychology professor has people wear a simulator which shows a real-looking train heading on a collision course with 5 people. But if the subject flips a switch, it will head down a different track where only 1 person will die instead of 5. The question, will people get involved and make a choice to kill someone in order to save 5 others? 90% of the people flip the switch. Researchers say this shows people will generally make a difficult moral decision if it is good for the greater good. A professor at MSU shows us how the wine industry is impacting Michigan.
And a deadly virus threatens the health of dogs near the Detroit area. Jennifer Shen has more on these stories this week in health. Jennifer?
Thank you, Jameson. A rare bacteria is taking the lives of Detroit area dogs. More than 20 cases of the new anti-layer strain of leptospirosis have been reported in the Detroit area. One expert says the sickness is spreading to other parts of the state. Carol Blaine is the director of MSU Diagnostic Center for Population and Animal Health. She discovered the strain in affected dogs. They likely contracted the disease from red urine. Dogs may appear normally or just be sluggish. Then all of a sudden, they become violently ill and will typically pass away within 24 to 48 hours.
Wow. But this was actually a cluster of cases, which suggests that there's something changing in the Detroit area that is making this disease more common.
There is a vaccine to prevent leptospirosis. It's recommended for all dogs in the southern half of the state. Humans can catch the latest strain, but the effects are unknown since no human cases has been reported yet. People are flocking from across the world to study Michigan wine. Focal Point Emily Fox reports on how MSU is leading research in Michigan's growing industry.
And that's your sparkling wine.
Paolo Sabatini has been working with wine his whole life.
I grew up in a vineyard with my grandfather. I saw my grandfather making wine in his cellar.
Sabatini heads up research projects in winemaking and growing at MSU. He works at Spartan Cellars, a small research facility that experiments with wine production on campus.
So in this facility, we produce a lot of different wines in a very, very small scale.
Sabatini moved from Italy to work as an assistant professor at MSU in 2007. He says he came here because the university's horticulture program is recognized across the world, and his students agree.
Because Michigan State is quite famous for the agriculture stuffs, and Michigan have a huge potential growing wine industry here. So probably I think it's a good opportunity to learn about making some good wines.
Shuzhen Zhang is from China, which has a growing wine industry just like Michigan. While places like Italy have been making wine for centuries, Michigan's wine industry began only 4 decades ago. Michigan ranks number 4 in the nation for grape production and ranks among the top 10 for wine production. And the industry is growing and is expected to continue to grow over the years.
Actually, this past summer, I lived and worked in southern France making wine over there for 3 months, and they actually knew about Michigan wines over there, so we're starting to get some world fame and glory. And
Sabatini says he and his students are currently working on ways to change the chemical makeup of the grapes MSU grows. Their newest project involves finding new varieties of grapes or clones of existing grapes that can survive through Michigan's cool climate. For Focal Point, I'm Emily Fox.
In 2007, Michigan had around 15 wineries. The number is now over 18 and is expected to expand. Movember, No Shave November, whatever you call it, the month of the scruffy July is upon us. Focal Point, Emmanuel Barry takes a closer look at the beard philosophy.
The month of facial hair is in full swing.
My beard style is actually called an Alaskan whaler.
Got the mustache working here too. There's a little bit of a gap over here, a little bit of a gap over here, but it's not too bad.
No Shave November is a tradition where men don't shave for the entire month. Some participate for camaraderie.
College students everywhere participate.
While others, like Lansing resident Michael Villegas, are using their facial hair for a cause.
I'm participating in No Shave November because we're supposed to raise awareness for men's health issues. And my dad just recently beat prostate cancer.
No Shave November was started as a way to address men's health issues, prostate health in particular. As for what Michael's dad thinks of his scruff.
He was like, "Oh, you need a shave. It's getting bad." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but it's for you."
While some people are setting aside their shaving cream and razors just for the month, a Lansing club is throwing them out for good, taking beard growing to the next level.
I haven't touched it in 14 months.
The Lansing-based Great American Fierce Beard Organization, or GAFBO, started as a friendly competition to see who could grow the fiercest beard. GAFBO co-founder John Buckler says the club mentality shifted after one of its members was diagnosed with cancer.
And so we decided to have people raise funds for the American Cancer Society for every day, week, or month that we grew our beards out.
Now, GAFBO continues to give back to the community, participating in can drives and other local events. GAFBO member Kyle Mustin says November is a strong recruiting month for the club.
When December comes, just let it keep growing. Like, winter's cold in Michigan. It works as a great scarf.
But for some, as soon as December hits, the razors are coming out.
My first shave is going to be amazing.
For Focal Point, I'm Emmanuel Berry.
That's Health This Week. I'm Jennifer Chen.
Thanks, Jennifer. Spartan athletes win some games and some big awards.
Oh, and another college coach faces child sexual abuse allegations this week in sports.
The day we created a cancer drug that saved millions of lives began like any other day. And when we developed a new way to purify the world's water supplies, it might have been a Tuesday or possibly a Thursday. And whether it's alternative energy or better food safety, the next time we help create a solution to one of the world's great problems, we'll be proud. Then we'll get back to work. Michigan State University. Spartans will.
Welcome back. I'm Emily Fox with this week's Sports Report. The Big Ten wins this year's Big Ten ACC Challenge in men's basketball, and it was MSU that put the Big Ten over the top with this week's win over Florida State. The Spartans beat Seminoles 65-49. Sophomore Keith Appling led the game, racking up 24 points and 7 rebounds, while senior Draymond Green made history, scoring his 1,000th point as a Spartan.
It's a great atmosphere. Everybody's pumped up. It's two of the top conferences in the nation facing off against each other, and it's a challenge,
Although Wednesday's game ended well for Spartans, cheerleader Taylor Young fell during the halftime performance and was rushed to Sparrow Hospital. She was released the next morning. Athletic Director Mark Hollis says she is doing okay and will travel with the football team to Indianapolis but will not cheer. The All Big Ten honors were announced this week, and a number of Spartans made the list. All 11 starters and defense made A-team. Junior Jarrell Worthy, who was first-team honors, led the defense. Guard Joel Foreman made first team on offense and was joined by quarterback Kirk Cousins on the second team. Cousins also was honored with a Big Ten Sportsmanship Award. Syracuse has fired longtime assistant basketball coach Bernie Fine amid allegations that he molested young boys connected to the program. Syracuse Chancellor Nancy Cantor said the decision was made after an audio recording was released of the accuser and Fine's wife. She said that the tape said he, quote, knew everything that went on and that Fine has issues. Cantor said she will support current head coach Jim Boeheim, saying he is our coach. And that's all for sports this week. Back to you, Hannah and Jameson.
Thanks, Emily. You've seen the Lansing State Journal, but have you seen the Lansing Spoof Journal?
Jennifer Shen looks at how this silly newspaper is raising some serious cash for good.
93 years old Frank Cleese put on his center suit and started selling newspaper in Goodrich Market this week.
When we get this money, and there's a bank, this money goes into it. And if some teacher has a kid come to school and he has not adequate shoes or something like that.
Fred likes to help the old newsboys raise money for children. It's something he has done for many years. When he was a young boy, the group helped him.
The group is very, very good at it. We've been doing, well, look at me. I've been doing it since I was way back in 1927, and I'm still doing it.
They are selling a newspaper called the Lansing Spoof Journal.
I just think it's a great tradition in Lansing. I try to always read it every year. A lot of good stories. A lot of fun.
Lansing State Journal produced the latest Lansing Spoof Journal, which is a significant fundraiser for the old newsboys. The group has given children shoes and boots since 1924.
The newspaper raises $140,000 to $150,000 from people in the community to support this effort. And it's really important. There's nothing quite like it, certainly in this region.
police not worried about new.
For Focal Point, I'm Jennifer Chen.
And guess what? Me and JMO have our own copies of the Lansing Spoof Journal right here. And just a reminder, you can still pick those up in your local grocery store. And trust me, you don't want to miss out on some of these stories. Like right here, I've got a deer sighted in farm vandalism. And if you take a close look, it's actually Rudolph's claymation dad, the culprit.
Wow, that's pretty serious, Hannah. You know, that's almost as serious as a few pages back here. We have a story about riots in East Lansing over the new pro-combat uniforms.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't think, I think Sparty needs to stay just to the green and white.
Yeah, I must have missed that.
That would be good, that would be good. So that's gonna do it for our show tonight. For more information on Lansing's old newsboys or any of our stories, check out our website.
Thanks for watching, and you have a good night.